edge of town there is a house where the ghost of the dear departed may be watching you. Perhaps you may see a man gardening in the backyard, and he disappears as he approaches the house. Set your foot inside and you may catch a glimpse of the shadows whispering by, or hear the unnerving sounds of footsteps. If you listen closely, you can hear the sound of children laughing, singing, playing, and even the piano will play a note or two from time to time. Why is this house inhabited by disembodied spirits? Could it be the energy from the railroad or from the land long ago? Is the house more prone to connection that a spirit portal has emerged? Or could it be the loving family that once occupied these walls? Welcome to the haunted Boyd House.
Good evening and welcome to Paranormal Gateway Paratalk. I am Scott Wise and Teresa is our host and unable to make it tonight. Our special guest tonight is Shelley. She's the owner of a haunted location in southwest Minnesota, the Boyd House. A paranormal investigator for 12 years and with her team, Croix Paranormal, have traveled all over the United States to well-known haunted locations in search for answers. They were once featured on the Biography channel on My Ghost Story for the apparition they caught on film at a local bar. She also produced her own local cable show that ran in Minnesota is on YouTube. It is through their travels that they got the idea of purchasing her own location and allowing others to investigate. In 2019, she was able to fulfill a dream, and she purchased a house that was built in 1901 is inhabited by spirits. So join us tonight to hear from Jill some of her personal experiences and how she became to become an owner of one of the most haunted locations. Without further ado, let's welcome Jill to the show. Welcome, Jill.
Hey,
How you doing?
Thanks for having me on.
Sure thing. I've been waiting for this because we were just talking today that it might be a while till I get out to your place. I tracked it today. It's like one route, 90 west, but it takes 14 hours to get there.
Yes, it is a long. There's so many haunted locations. We've been to Ohio. We're actually going to Ohio again this August. We have an investigation. Love Ohio, lots of haunted places, but God, do I hate the drive. Yeah.
What sparked your interest to pursue the paranormal? I always ask my guests this first.
Well, I always kind of been fascinated by ghosts and spirits ever since I was young. I always liked the ghost stories, the spooky movies, that kind of stuff. My cousins and I would like sit and tell ghost stories in the dark. My first experience was actually at my grandmother's house, and they had a room that was up with faced a certain direction. The kids, none of us liked it. It was always really freezing cold. You always felt like somebody was in there staring at you, watching you, that kind of thing. And then there was one particular night I was sleeping upstairs in the room adjacent from it, and then my parents were in another room all up on the same floor. And I don't know, maybe 8-10 years old, so really young. And I just woke up hearing footsteps, but my back was to the door. And then it stopped in front of my door, and you could almost feel it like look through you, almost like a laser beam, I guess is the way I could explain it. It was that intense. But I, being that young, I'm like too terrified to turn around, put the blankets over my head, like, okay, go away, boogeyman, that kind of thing. And
I think we all do that at one time.
Yeah. And then so eventually, I turned around and it went away. And I mentioned it to my first my parents said, oh, no, we never got up in the middle of the night, which I knew they didn't because I could hear them next door. But my grandma, who's downstairs, that's where her room was, I mentioned it to her. And she's like, oh, my gosh, honey, that was just a ghost and he's not going to hurt you. And I was like, whoa, wait, like if grandma is not terrified, she's thinking this is like whatevs. So I just thought, I'm gonna really, I want to learn more about these things. Not only was I fascinated, but now I want to learn more, like everything. So I just kind of started going to the library, watching, any documentary I could find at the time. And then with the advent of all the television shows that have come out, that's when I'm like, oh my gosh, really? You can do this? Like, I didn't know this was a thing.
That's how you start.
Yep. And then, I started with like one camcorder, voice recorder, and a K2 meter, and it's just expanded ever since. So yeah, it's been crazy, crazy, crazy.
It's just a ghost.
She didn't seem to care. And my grandma was super religious, so for her to just nonchalantly, like, it's a ghost, it was like, wow, that's, it kind of meant a lot to me at the time. So
Oh, it's like, well, us, we were in it probably as long as you were. You said 12 years. I think we're going like 14 or 15 probably with different teams. So the last team I've been with like 10 years now. We don't get out much anymore because we're in different states now, but we get to two or three a year. And you said you're going to one in August. Which one are you going to in August?
Middle Point School.
Where's that
at? Somewhere in Ohio. It's not very far into it. I can't remember.
Oh my God! What day are you going? Do you know?
August 14th, I want to say. I'm really bad with dates. That's why I have everything written down.
Because we're in the investigation Post Town 20th August.
Okay. Yep. And we've been to Post Town. Yep.
This will be the second time we go on because we you can't cover it all the time. So
no, that was we kind of split up on that one, and Alex went up to the third floor. Teresa went down to the gym, and I just kind of stayed and milled around on the same floor. We did that for like an hour or so. We had a pretty quiet night. We got a few things, but it wasn't like extremely active that particular night while we were there. So, but it was a cool place. Love to come back.
The first time we went, we got one of the best video evidence we had ever. In gymnasium, I tell a story all the time. In gymnasium, you were in gymnasium. They have these balls that don't bounce at all. They're basketballs, and we had the wheelchair in there. They're taking me around. I'm mostly handicapped. I walk in. I get by with the cane pretty good. And they're pushing me around with that old wheelchair they had there. Mm-hmm. And we had it in a gym. And we were setting up, my friend Bill and I were setting up the staging area. And earlier, one of the guys put the basketball on this wheelchair. And it was in the gymnasium. They had the coverage of the whole gymnasium running already. And they came back down and they said, who's looking at the ball off the chair? Because it's in the middle of the auditorium. And Bill, the guy who set it up here, well, I'll go check it out. He goes back, he's not going to be this shit. He said, pardon my French. But he said, wow, I can't believe this happened. And he moved it back, and we caught that ball off flat of my chair and more across the auditorium.
Wow.
Yeah. I have to pay for it. Yeah. You want to see it?
Yeah, that's cool if we caught that on.
I was going to say do a full screen. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. And you can tell that's a heavy ball.
Yeah, they're at the floor. Boom.
Yeah, very cool. That is awesome. Great.
Because I think we're downstairs and we heard the boom of the floor. I think we picked up on audio from downstairs also. We heard it. So, yeah, it was, we saw that. If we don't leave anything else, then we'll be happy. But we got a lot of stuff out of it, right? I mean, we got a lot of TV feeds, and it's just an awesome location. We can't really go back. So another question I ask everybody, and I think sometimes get angry with me. Yeah, I just ask, what is the most favorite location or locations? And most people don't have a favorite one, but did you have a favorite one that you went to, or different locations?
It's almost like you have a favorite for every location as to like, oh my God, this was the favorite thing that happened.
Oh, yeah.
So that it's kind like you said, it's hard. But I guess like the one place we've gone to back a lot is Edinburgh Manor in Iowa. So I think we've been there like 4 times maybe.
Wow.
And I just love it. Like you always get something like equipment interaction. You get a ton of EVPs. One of the first times we went there, we had some really good interaction with a little girl because there's a little girl that's supposedly there. So we were like playing games and stuff with her. And I got an EVP as we were leaving because I'm like, okay, well, it's getting late. Good night. It's been fun and stuff. And I got to eat. It was like Class A. It just said, I'm going to miss you. And it was like, I was just
that's sweet.
Ever since that I go back and I've never made that connection with her again. I don't know if maybe she's been sent on her way. And hey, Teresa. And so I just don't know if she's gone or not because I've never made that connection. But we always have something. It's just such a fun place to go.
Wow. Yeah, let's think of us. Each place we go, we are awfully lucky through the years to get stuff. I mean, we always look at like if we go in and get something that's because we love doing it, going out and investigating stuff. Mm-hmm. It's a passion of ours. We like to do it, so we keep doing it.
Oh yeah, we like to go places. We had a lot of trips booked this year. We just did a convent and a school last weekend, and just got some amazing stuff. Everything we had was going off like crazy, even in front of us. So that was pretty cool. Coming up, we're going to the Stimson Hospital in Michigan. That's coming up too. So looking forward to that. And we got a couple more trips planned. Getting us through fall, and then just taking a break and. In between time, also we go to the Boyd House too.
Yeah, that's awesome. When you decide to, that almost answers the question. Any locations you have not investigated that you wish to?
I really want to go to the old South Pittsburgh Hospital in Tennessee. That's like a big one on my bucket list. So eventually I'd like to get there. Such a drive. It's farther than Ohio. So we'll see. It's one of those days we're going to have to take a little bit more time off of work. So
right. Those are just pay for holiday days trips. Yeah, they're longer ones.
Yeah. So yeah, kind of in the Midwest, it kind of, we have a lot in like Iowa. There's a lot of haunted in Iowa. A little bit in Wisconsin and Minnesota, but not like locations that are like paid to go to locations. So it's kind of like you got to find people who let you in to different places.
Right.
But yeah, so being in the Midwest, you kind of not too close to anything really great. So you got to drive.
All right. I have to wait. That's also like right now. Teresa is in South Carolina, I believe, and we got Pennsylvania. We have some people in New York. We do collab from different states. So we're always looking for collaboration with different states. So yeah, chance to. Yes, it's fun. But do you have, like, after you do investigations, and you go through a review, how long is it to get up on your site for people to see? Or
yeah, it depends on what's going on in my personal life and just getting through the stuff. This year I'm getting through at least kind of reviewing it, but putting it out, I've been not able to do that. And we started investigating places in April this year. It's just the way I have it set. We are traveling once a month, about every 3 weeks, and so just trying to get through everything in between. We do put we have a lot of equipment. So when we go out, we pretty much have a ton of camera footage to go through, ton of voice recorder footage. We're the type of team where we leave the voice recorder on from the time we walk in to the time we walk out. And that's in every place we stay.
Oh, same thing. So you walk in.
Yep. So there's just so much to review and just get through it. And then, just life in general, and then hitting up your next investigation. So, hopefully as we start catching up and stuff, I'll try to get stuff out as soon as I can, because we've gotten so much stuff that I am just so excited to share a lot of the stuff that we've got. It's just been amazing.
Actually, I have like 3 or 4 recorders I place around different rooms too. So the apples I have a head cam, and they're all around about at least 8 hours for an investigation to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes me a few weeks to get through all that stuff, sometimes longer. But when you're doing residential as rather to well-known locations, just your team's doing, you're more urgent to get the residential stuff done for the client.
Oh yeah, those you want to, those get to the
And
front.
that's,
Yeah,
yeah,
because the more,
so they're always,
yeah, the haunted location ones that we go to, that's more for our personal, experiences and to gather evidence versus when you're actually trying to help somebody. And then I will never ever I have never released anything that we have done to a personal home. The only one I did use was one EVP we got because it was such an awesome one, but I didn't like divulge the location or anything. But we were actually at the house, and the homeowner, she was recovering from a cold, so we were all in the basement. She started coughing a lot. She's like, I'm going to go up and get a drink of water. So she's the only one up there you can hear, getting her water, drinking her water. And you get this EVP of a little kid that says, do you want a cool drink of water? As she's calling.
Wow.
And then, so I had to bring it up to him. And then, interesting enough, because we weren't looking for children, that's not what they thought was there. But then we get this EVP, and I'm like, well, I don't know where this is coming from. But then he mentioned it to his mother that lived with him. And she said, oh, yeah, when we moved in here, there were 2 ghost girls that showed themselves to me. And I made a deal with them that if they didn't show them to you, I would bring them presents. Because he goes, we always thought it was weird that my mom kept dolls and stuff in her room. So like her mom knew about these ghost girls, but would never allow them. Yeah. So it's crazy. So that was pretty cool that we got that EVP, and to validate why we had a kid's voice when the children, well, they were adult children, weren't thinking anything of kids. So yeah, that was really interesting to validate that.
We've had kids before, and a lot of places we go, but a lot of places are like mansions where they had kids throughout the,
Mm-hmm.
We got some of our best GPs at other places, but yeah. It's always fun to those places. We did a couple mansions, I think. But yeah, they're always fun to do. We've done a church before a while back too. Got some good stuff.
Yeah, I did. We did at one church one time too, and I was on the spirit box. It said, "Are you Catholic?" Which was because we were just sitting on the altar asking questions. So that was really cool to hear that.
Yeah, we picked up a ghost choir. That was cool.
Oh, that is.
Yeah. I have to send you a clip.
Oh yeah, I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, it was awesome. It's picked up on the video camera setup and also on the voice recorder. So
cool.
It was wild. Yeah, that place is no longer open anymore. A church was built back in, I would say, late 1800s. It was. It was in the Flyerstown, PA. Yeah, that was good. We went there a few times. Yeah, on our favorite occasions. Every time, did some Gettysburg stuff too. You guys do Gettysburg yet?
No, a little too far yet for us. So
Yeah.
Like I think Ohio. Yeah, Ohio has been the farthest that we've gone. And then I think the other way we've gone to Nebraska, I think, is the farthest, and then as far as down as Missouri. So,
yeah, it was my home state was Pennsylvania until like 6 years ago. I moved out to Ohio, but I lived in New York. I was like 40 minutes away, so I got there quite a bit.
Yeah, well, it's got a lot of haunted locations that way.
Yeah. There's bed and breakfast we did an investigation for. We did it a few times. One time the lady had us a dinner for guests and stuff, and then after they wanted to go hunt with us. You show them all stuff and how to work it. And yeah. Then went back to the reveal a month later, I think. We did that place. That was worth. It was called Battlefield Bed and Breakfast. It's a good place to go.
Well, someday hopefully we can make it out there because there's a lot of places.
I love old churches, cemeteries. Oh, cemeteries. Yeah, other cemeteries. And we had one called Pioneer Cemetery that we went to a lot. We had a lot of stuff out of there.
Mm-hmm.
That's way up in the Tulsa Forest. Yeah.
Sounds kind of spooky.
Oh, it is. I think it's at least 2 miles up the hill. And there's a small cemetery that's, I'll have to guess and say maybe, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000 square feet. I'm guessing. I'm not sure how, but it's not big. And there's a really old stones there. And that's a good place to go because there's no moon or anything. You can't see your hand in front of your face. It's so dark.
Yeah.
So, at least you can drive out to it, though.
I don't know. Sounds a little spooky.
Yeah. Oh, it's a lot of fun, though. We doesn't want to hate your faces. So, yeah, do you do cemeteries at all or no?
Not really. Just because I feel like some of the evidence we can't control the outside elements, so I'm just not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's just not really my thing. But we actually Donna, who is part of our team, me and her actually met in a cemetery. Actually, what her sister-in-law worked at the same place I did, and we were just talking one day, and she's like, "Oh, you got to meet my sister-in-law. She's so into ghosts and stuff." So I called her on the phone and we talked, and then we're like, well, let's just meet and see how we like each other. I go, you want to meet at a cemetery? So one night after work, we just met at a cemetery and did a little investigating, and yeah, she's been with us ever since. So
that's wonderful. Yep. Yeah, it's nice to have people you both through throughout the years. You get to know how they work and stuff together, and just sort of get a bond then, and you have to respect with each other. Can make good investigations. I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, that's for sure. We have it's basically 4 of us, me, Donna, Alex, and Teresa. We've had people come and go in the group and stuff, but this has been like my solid core 4, so they are like family to me. So we've been together for so long. So it's just really hard that we kind of decided we're not going to try and bring anybody else in, unless they really, really click with us. So, and it'd almost have to be somebody who knew of us, friends of a friend. But it just seems to work better that way, I think. And the energy I think that our team forms is why we get as much evidence as we have been getting.
Yeah, I have a paranormal team that I started here in Ohio, Ghosty Gateway Paranormal Investigations. And I tried to get some people on board, and it's difficult to find somebody. And I did find this girl. She's going to work out all right. And I have another guy that's all right. I'm going to start working on getting together sometime. It's, a little better weather and try to get out, at least to a cemetery or something, just to get out and do something. So we'll see how it goes. But like I said, it's hard to do. So I should stick with this other group that I'm part of, Paranormal Truth Seekers. I've been with them for a few years now. So, but we do go under that name usually, and we go out but yeah, we try to get out as much as we can now. But with everything going on this past year, it's kind of tough to do. But
yeah, we didn't do anything last year really at all. So this is kind of our first year of just, getting back into the swing of stuff. So, we're excited for the 2022.
Yeah, and with the gas prices and stuff, I hope they go down soon. I don't know when, but
I know That's what I said. I'm like, if I knew the gas prices were going to be like this, I wouldn't have booked so many trips. Not that I don't love going on them, but it is like killing me financially to be driving
Yeah.
to these places. But it's already booked, and you got to do what you got to do. Not that I'm so looking forward to all of them, but yeah, we'll have to scale it back next year, I think.
We were probably back in Pennsylvania for the first week or 10 days in July. And I'm not sure we're going to there. It all depends how things deal with the gas and stuff and how everything. Yeah, but we'll see. Yeah. If not, it might be booking guests in July.
Yeah,
I booked right now in July. If I was going to, it's going to be towards the end of July. So anybody out there want to come on? I'll be looking. I'll probably have somebody for the first 2 weeks in August. But, yeah. So, are you doing any restorations to keep up with the error?
Yeah, at the Boyd House, when we first got it, we pretty much redid as much as we could. So we pretty much painted everything. We wallpapered everything with the old Victorian type wallpaper. And then we put in pretty much most of our furniture in there is antique furniture. So I was trying to be back to the 1900 time period as much as I can, or just pieces I thought looked really cool. But yeah, so a lot of different antiques. And then we've also brought in some supposed haunted objects into the house, just to kind of add to the ambiance of what goes on there. So yeah, we do try to keep it. I have actually got an EVP when I was doing some spackling that said that looks very elegant. So I don't know for them because they didn't have spackling back then. So they're probably like, what is going on here? And then I did also have a psychic tell me who didn't really know anything about my house or anything that I've done to it. And he just happened to mention, he goes, yeah, somebody wallpapered there that really didn't know what they were doing. And the ghosts were thinking it was super funny because they were laughing at you guys. And we actually, my husband and I have never wallpapered. Like we, YouTubed it like everybody else does. Like, how do you do this? So we were just winging it. So there's a lot of yelling, a lot of things wrong,
Yeah.
It can't be
go watch TV.
Yep. And so I'm sure they got, and just for him to say that, now I just look back and go, I totally can see him just sitting there laughing at us, because wallpaper was a thing they did all the time. They probably knew how to do it. It's probably a piece of cake for them. I don't know.
Back then it was fabric. It wasn't. It was fabric. It wasn't what we have now.
Oh yeah, totally different. But yeah, so it was kind of funny. But yeah, we tried to bring it back as much as we could. And then as I've learned more about the family that lives there, I try to bring them things that they enjoyed or liked and stuff like that. So I bring them gifts a lot.
Now, is there a limit amount you're allowed to do? Are you only a register or not?
No, we're not. I have learned that the house was the first house that had plumbing in town. So there's a little bit of history.
Wow. Lock the door. Your bathroom.
Exactly. But yeah, the old owner that we have most of the history on, which is one of the spirits that we do believe lived there, is Fred Eckert. And he actually owned one of the stores in town. So he was very well-respected businessman. And also he was part of the fire department. His father and him helped build one of the churches in town. He was on the school board, so very, very well-respected man in town. He died in the home as well as his wife died in the home, and her funeral was held for 3 days in the house. And 2 of their children actually passed away in the house. One of them choked to death when he was about 3 or 4 years old.
Oh.
So we do have some child activity, but we have also more some adolescent children activity and things that we've gotten. So I'm not really sure where those kids have come from. And we've also gotten, quite a few different other names and stuff, frequently like Henry and George, we get a lot, but I can't find any history or, death certificates or anything about these people. So I don't know if they're, passerbyers or why they chose to stay there. it's hard to say. And, I think also now doing what we do at the Boyd House, so many people coming in and doing investigations and things and creating energy. And it's also right behind the railroad tracks. And there's just a lot of history on the land. I think it just conjures up a whole bunch of activity, it's just a whole gamut of stuff. So and any given day, you're going to get something different at that house. That's for sure.
Now, would you decide to pull the trigger and say, I want to buy the location and so on? Did you have choices you're looking at, or do you have it around stock on the Boyd House?
Well, nobody really advertises their house as being haunted.
Right.
So I kind of just did on my own. My realtor knew what I was looking for, but I said, I'll find it. You just get me in there. And so I just kind of went through and put in the criteria of what I was looking for, at the age of the house and locations and such. And we did look at a few other places, including a church even. But then I came across the Boyd House and I was just immediately drawn to it. I don't feel like I am a psychic person, but I do have a lot of inner feelings. And when spirits are around, I can feel them. Can't communicate with them, in a psychic sense, but I just know they're there. But I was just really, really, really drawn to the place, almost to the point of obsession before I even got to look at it. When I went down to go look at it, sitting outside with Donna, one of my investigators, I'm like, do you kind of feel like somebody's looking at you through the attic? And she's like, yeah, I kind of didn't want to say anything. And then when we went in there, you kind of felt like somebody's looking at you from far away. Like they're like, what is going on? Because nobody's like ever talked to them or communicated with them or, much less putting stuff out and talking to them. So we did have one of our REM pods go off within 8 minutes of being there. I did run a spirit box and I got a woman saying, who are you? That was like the first words out of her mouth. So it was kind of just a little few things. And I'm like, well, I don't know, and I talked to a psychic that I trust and she's like, oh gosh, there's like 6 spirits there, a couple kids, women, men. She kind of went into great detail about them. And then, through all my investigating, everything she said was true about them. But then I thought, you know what, who's the best thing? Let's just ask the previous owner. I mean, they must have had something, some kind of experiences.
All right.
And they did. Like she's an older woman at the time now. And she just said, oh yeah, I thought that house was always funny. Sometimes I would hear old fashioned music.
Cool.
And then she talked to the kids who are, adults now, and her one daughter always seemed to see spirits in the house and they just thought she was crazy. But she was the only one in the family who ever saw them, but the other ones experienced touching noises, things like that. Their friends, people in town have come forward like, oh, I spent the night there one time and something tapped my shoulder while I was sleeping. And so, yeah, so it's been going on. I think they just kind of had that happy common peace. And now I come in and I'm just like, hey, who are you? And we've gotten to know each other very well, all of the spirits there. So they know who I am. And one of my favorite EVPs, I heard there was a team and it was probably the 3rd team that's ever been in there. And I tried to explain to the ghost, because I always talk to them while I'm there, like I'm having a conversation with you. But I was just like, oh, people are going to come visit you now. But within a few minutes of them being there, they got an EVP that said, where's Jill? So they were probably like, what? So now they're kind of used to it. So I think they know what the REM pods are. We've kind of, I've showed them and talked to them and that kind of thing of what things are. And now I feel like they're over that. They will touch it, but if you bring something new in then that nobody's ever brought in, then they're all over that, man. They want to check that out. So
Does your team ever do live investigations?
We don't always do live. Sometimes we'll hop on while we're there. We did just do it. Like I said, we just did the convent this weekend and we did hop on live because it was just getting so crazy active. We had just kind of set up a little shrine. We kind of did, just Jesus pictures and crosses. And, we talked about come down and pay your respects to the Lord and, things like that. And then shortly after that, then we were just getting ready to head out to the, it's a 2-for-1 building. So there's a school next door. So we're getting ready to head out and get set up there. And all of a sudden the REM pod on the table by all the Jesus and everything started going off like crazy. So then, of course, we came back and started talking. And then we also had another one in the same room in the corner with more crosses and religious items. And that started going off. And then we had one on the stairs behind us and it started going off. So it was this constant triangle of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You're even like, can you stop? Okay, start again, that kind of thing. So we played that game. And it wasn't stopping. Like, it wasn't letting us go to the school. So I'm like, I'm just going to grab my phone and hop on live. So we did that. And so, and I know sometimes live will set equipment off, but it was already going off like probably 10 minutes before I even hopped on.
Right.
To even do that. So.
Oh, believe me, we picked this chasing game already. Oh, yeah, a lot. So, yeah, that's cool. We got it out there. Somehow. Maybe I win the lottery. I'll take everybody out.
That's right. Yes. It'll be national.
We'll fly first class.
I know. If you could only do that, I'm just trying to figure out if I can take a ferry over to Michigan right now, so I didn't have to drive.
Oh man, do you Uber?
Yeah, like I wonder.
Oh boy.
I know if we could only afford a bigger vehicle and our own chauffeur, then at least you could like sleep. We've always talked about like if we could get like a mini bus or something, but it's like we could never find anybody who just likes to just drive.
She used to love to drive. God bless her. Cause I can't drive. I can, I've driven for many years. But yeah, she always logged my ass around things. Yeah, she is my paranormal wife. I call her.
Yeah.
She's my wifey. Yeah, she takes care of all of us boys. So.
Yeah, we have like Donna's our little mother hen. She's always making sure everybody's taken care of, and yeah, she's just a sweetheart.
Yeah, I'm half start calling her mother hen. I didn't get a response to that yet. She is a mother of 2 kids now at home, I think, and she was dealing with it and like trying to get them ready to bed. It's kind of hard to, she gets home when she can.
Mm-hmm.
But she watched it now, I believe. So yeah, we started this. I guess maybe come on 3 years in October. I think this episode will be 42 or 43, I believe. So yeah, you have a podcast, won't you?
I've been on several podcasts, yeah. But
do you want to your own?
No, I don't even know how to do that stuff.
Oh, okay.
I do more. I got into video production years a while ago, just for fun. And I started off with a really super basic, I think it was like Windows something. I was like, oh my God, this is super cool. Now I got to find something else. So then I started buying a program. I'm like, well, now I want a better program. And so I keep moving up as I learn how to do stuff. So I just love doing it. Just kind of putting together all our little investigations. We used to do a local cable show, and we called it Paranormal Patrol. So we still release that out on YouTube, but we just haven't produced enough for what they want volume-wise to keep on the cable channel. Yeah. But yeah, I just do it just for fun. It's always like kind of a little keepsake of places that we did, and I just enjoy doing it. It's like, oh, look at that! Put this special effect in, and it's kind of fun. So it just it takes me a really, really long time. So when people just even see like a 30-minute show that I put together, it's probably taken me about a whole month to put that together.
Right.
Just to get that stuff, but I just love it. I love it. It's just kind of like go to the investigation. Then I honestly think sometimes I like putting it together more than the investigation. You know what I mean? Because it's like now I get to put it all together, and especially when we break up into teams. We recently went to the Indiana State Sanitarium, and because it's so huge, we broke into teams of 2. And so I heard what my, partners experienced, but I didn't get to see it and be there. But now, going through the video will be the first time that I get to see exactly what they did. So it's kind of fun to do that. And then put it all together. It's just, I love it.
Right. I love doing it. It's not really do around here. I don't get out much. But yeah, I mean, she's just dark a few years back, and I just kept it up inside. We took a break for a while, yes, but got back into it. I like we first started off by let's do a podcast about our experiences and other paranormal teams go on. We do have some teams go on, but I don't have like guests on. I enjoy having guests on. So when you reach out about having come wrong, I say, oh yeah. We'll get you on maybe a month or so because I was booked up for 2 months. I'm with it, but I got an open schedule for the next 2 months. So, yeah, a lot of fun. I broke down, got one of these. This is actually a birthday present for my wife.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So, yeah. Wow. Okay, might have already answered this one, Val, but best evidence you got in the Boyd House and our teams, then I think you answered already.
Well, there's been so much stuff that you can find. I would say that if you were looking for the best evidence, I think that somebody else captured that I didn't. I think one of them is a team called, they abbreviate as NOPS, and they actually caught two shadow figures in the kitchen. So a lot of people have reported shadows coming through the kitchen, and this actually looks like almost like an adolescent and then a smaller kid behind them. And they just kind of had the camera from basically where the piano is, and they had the camera aiming into the kitchen, and you kind of saw one big black shadow mass and then another one. It was like super fast, like shoo shoo.
Wow.
Like they were moving through, and they captured that. I know a lot of people like, oh, it's probably headlights and things like that. But if you knew the house and the location, there's no way headlights could have come in the way the kitchen.
Right.
It's impossible for that to happen. So yeah, that was probably the coolest thing that I saw that other people have captured. A lot of people have gotten a lot of other things, equipment in action and things moving and stuff. But I think by far, the shadows were probably the coolest thing captured at the house.
So tell me about my ghost story experience.
Yeah, that was really fun. I never thought I'd actually get on TV for that, but we were actually at a bar in downtown Stillwater, which is we're kind of based out of. And they brought us there because they have just so much activity, like the dartboard will turn on, their booze gets thrown off the shelf. The employees didn't want to go down the basement. They'd hear screaming. We did know there were a few deaths. Like there actually was a lady of the night that was murdered there. They threw her out the window. So she died, and it was back in the day, it was like an old lumberjack town. That's what
right.
known for. So there's just so much rich history. But so they had us in, and we were getting a lot of activity throughout the night. And then I think it was like 2-3 in the morning. So we're up on the second level. Nobody's there. Bars closed down. So actually it was probably after 2. So it's probably 3 or 4 in the morning. So nobody's in town, and all of a sudden, we're talking about, hey, let's run a spirit box session, and then all of a sudden it got like super cold, like both are, we just got the intense goosebumps. It just like the temperature dropped like 100, down, and I just was commenting, I'm like, gosh, it's just really cold in here, and all of a sudden me and she's not with us now, but Krista, we looked over and we saw this black mass shadow, super fast, almost like strobe motion, just pass in front of the windows. And I was like, oh, did you just see that? And she's like, yeah, I just saw that. And we captured it on film. So I was really shocked that we even captured that on film. So, and again, you can't, it wasn't cars. We're up on this way second level. It's 4 in the morning. Nobody's in town. Very few cars coming by. It was a solid black. It blacked out the windows. And if you stopped the picture, in the frame and took a picture, you could see an outline, almost like a cloak type figure. Yeah, so it was really cool. So, and plus we had the temperature drop, and it moved like I never would see something move. Like I said, almost strobe motiony. It was very bizarre. But it was so fast and then just like gone. So,
It was dangerous death.
yes, I don't think it was that though. There is a woman there that does tend to stand there, and that's actually how I also heard about the bar too. One of the girls at work mentioned, she's like, "Hey, one time I went up there and the upstairs was closed, but that's where their bathrooms are." And she's like, "There was a lady standing there and she was looking out the window towards the river, just like she was waiting for somebody." And then I came downstairs and mentioned it to the workers, and they're like, "No, nobody's up there. Nobody's supposed to be up there, but she's been seen." So that's what kind of got me into going to the bar there. So yeah, that was fun. Very cool experience. So then they had us back a few more times after that. And interesting too, when they came and they filmed. So when you do the Biography channel, you go down to the studio, they fly you to LA and everything. It was like you feel like VIP. And and so then you film there, and then they come to your location at a later date and film at the actual location. And while we were there doing some filming, one of the garbage cans upstairs just fell over, and it's like a big, tall, plastic garbage can, but nobody was there. There's no breeze because it's upstairs and the windows aren't open. They don't open the windows. So yeah, it just went bam, and we were like, okay.
Did you remember to wear the same outfit?
No, I didn't wear the same outfit. So.
Like, what's going on there?
Yeah, but it was a fun experience to do. So yeah, we really enjoyed that.
We call some shadows too. In fact, there's one at the choir church. We call we're up at the front of the church, and they had doors with window tiles, and caught somebody walking by, and everybody's accounted for. Me and the girl were outside in the cemetery walking around doing stuff, and the guys were actually up at the front. They picked up, and they think it's the ghost of an usher that used to be there. And then at the same place, the next time we went, Don and Bill were doing a walk through cemetery, and they picked up the mist going by real quick. It looked like somebody walking real fast, like a little kid walking. And the other shadow, we got Bill called, actually at Pioneer Cemetery. I don't have that clip to show you, but he has it somewhere. He called a shadow dart across the cemetery. He goes running. Yeah, so yeah, we do. Sometimes you catch them.
Yeah, we did actually catch another. Now that you think about it, Randolph Infirmary in Indiana. We went there.
Oh, I won't go there. We talked about going there. With Teresa was there. We went to go. We didn't do. So
yeah, it was hands down amazing. Actually, nobody could come that time except so it was me and Teresa in this giant asylum alone. But she as setting up, she kept seeing like black shadows just darting down the hallway, and she's like, "Oh my god, I just saw one." So that was kind of going on during setup, so we didn't really recatch her at that time. But we were like walking around on like the first floor, and I had the camera. I was kind of panning, in between like 3 different hallways, kind of doing one of these. And I'm like, "Well, where do you want to go next?" And I didn't see it because I was like, "Where do you want to go next?" And so on review, as we're coming across, there's like way down at the end of the hall, there's a doorway and there's a light on back there because that's kind of like your base camp. So there is a light. And all of a sudden you saw like a black shadow kind of peek out from the doorway.
Yeah.
And then it ran across. So it was it was a pure black mass, but just to have it like peek out, look like, okay, and then run really fast.
Yes.
That was crazy. And then I know we got the 2 really cool EVPs we got there. So the building has burned down twice and rebuilt. So we were walking in the basement. We got a Class A EVP of a guy said, "The building's on fire, don't you know?" So that was really cool to hear that. And then we were walking around the hall, and we got another of a lady that said, "Hello, girls, pleased to meet you. Come on in." Wow. So I was just like, wow, those are like way full sentences. And I wish I would have heard the lady say it at the time because I totally would have went in her room. So...
We picked up ADP up in New York at the Palmyra Historical Museum and the What was the name of the shop? I forget. But we were upstairs of this place, and we were doing EVP session, and the guy who was with us was a volunteer. He wanted to join us that night. He was investigator team, but also a volunteer of the museum. He went along with us. And when we did a review, he had said out, come on, these guys came to Pennsylvania this whole way. Please show them something or do something. And like not 10 seconds later, I picked up a voice saying, come on down with us.
Wow.
It's a female voice. It is clear that it's so clear to what they're saying.
Yeah.
But I just said that one too. Just to, yeah.
Oh yeah. I love EVPs. They're like I hate going through them, but when you
I love doing it. I could sit there for hours and do it.
Yeah.
Teresa knows that. Yeah. I'm an EVP guy.
But after a while your ears hurt. I'm like, I just don't want to do anything anymore. But then you get one and you're like, okay, I'm good again. Maybe I'll get something.
I got the bionic here. I can hear stuff. I all hear the like keep me around for that. Yeah, like I said, we get tons of stuff. Do you guys still set up your DVR cameras?
Yeah, we do. We just also got like one of those, the DVR. So there's like 4 cameras on that. But I still like to kind of kick it old school, and I use a lot of the high 8 tapes. We were using like our HD camcorders, but I kind of feel like they don't do really good in certain situations. Like I don't think they film as well as my high 8s do or the DVR system, but sometimes you don't have power, so you can't use the DVR. So I do like my high 8s, and I'm still kind of I got back to using those a little bit more. So yeah, we I think I got on a little kick of owning camcorders, so I think we're up to like 32 different camcorders now. So, yeah, I used to set them all up, but now that I'm getting older, I'm like, we're gonna downscale just a little bit. So yeah, I don't do quite as much as I used to.
We have a set we haven't used in years. Just we get these locations that don't want to spend, especially we travel a far distance, we don't want to spend 2-3 hours setting up. So it's like we all have, like, Cheese has 2 or 3, I think, video cameras. Bill has 2 or 3. Don has more too. I just got to bring a new one, DVR, full spectrum. I have high 8 too. I've been using that for many years.
Yeah.
But what I did, I had a converter that converted to make it into an actual webcam, and it fed it into the computer, and I had a program that actually taped it instead of put it on the actual tape itself to video. Mm-hmm. So that worked out pretty good for many years, and last year it just didn't work anymore. So I got a new one this past year at Ghost Stop. So. Yeah, I used it once already, and we're using it again in August. I used it the first time at the Fire Museum here in Mansfield, Ohio. Mm-hmm. First time. I used it to do live for a few hours too. So it worked out pretty good. So, but I call it some good EVPs on that too. Mm-hmm. It's amazing what we can get on those. Even on those things, you would think that we always used, like for our handheld voice recorders, we always use a mic connection, external mic, because usually most of those or some don't have really good internal mic systems. Mm-hmm. So we bypass that with what are the more professional external mics, and then we'll hook it up. We'll have like wire hooked up to a hat, and then it's out of the way. You don't have to worry about it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's the way you just do it.
We usually just wherever we set a camcorder is where you throw a voice recorder, and that just sits by it. My handheld one, either lately I've just been carrying it in my hand. But I also found like this, it's for your cell phone, I think, actually, but it can strap to your arm, and then you can just stick it in there. And
Yeah.
then it's got that little external mic that you can stick and have it hang out. So
Don is one of those. He uses it. Yeah.
Yeah. I find I'll notice though it does a lot more of the movement, like it catches a lot of the shh.
Yeah, that's why that when we used the mic on the hat, you don't get that. Because what you do is when you do that, it's just hits your recorder to lock, and then you don't have to worry about turn it off or anything in your pocket.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. It works out really well.
Yeah.
Because some of the mics you got are crystal clear. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Lately, I've just been carrying it. That seems to work out pretty good. I used to have the microphone, like you said, with the wire, and it would just clip here, but I'd still kind of get too much movement on it. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I got the fisherman dress. Glad you can't walk around, and I use another one to kind of bounce myself or carry one thing. A vest that has different stuff in.
I know,
works out really well. I get laughed at, but it works good.
Yeah, Teresa got one of those ghost hunting backpacks, so she got all the little pockets for all her flashlights and everything.
Seriously, you're funny. Oh boy. Oh, you found your equipment? Of course you did. It's marked in that box it wasn't supposed to be. I found my PS3 games the other day too. Finally. Wow, cool. Alrighty. Do you have any like planned events coming up for people to come? You know what I mean? Like a social thing. Everybody comes and just sets some stuff there. You ever think about doing that?
We haven't done any events at the house, primarily because I just really haven't had the time to set anything up.
You're right. I could quite understand that.
Yeah, and then like COVID hit too, when we kind of thought, but we did actually have some things lined up. I wasn't doing the event, but somebody else was going to do an event at the house, but then COVID hit, and then we just have never redone anything. But I'm always open if somebody wants to hit me up about doing some events. I'm more than willing to work with somebody in that respect. But right now it's primarily just private overnight investigations for people in the house.
Right. Now, do you do just weekends or do weekdays too?
No, we're as long as it's available, we're open 365 days a year. We have window AC units for the summer. We have heat. We have bathrooms, which is a big thing. We have a microwave and a refrigerator and a little pizza maker for people. So yeah, we try to make it a little bit of home away from home. We started offering coffee and snacks, so people have that. So yeah, it's a nice little place. So it's a little nice hidden gem in Minnesota.
Yeah, check out your prices aren't bad at all for that, because I was looking at some other places and I definitely go there. I mean, the prices, is very reasonable.
Yeah, we, unfortunately this year we had to raise it due to the increase.
Well, I can see that, but even if you do, I mean,
yeah, it was a bummer, because we had the same prices for 3 years. I try, me being an investigator too, I know what it's like for cost and travel and everything. So I try to keep it, I'm not out to make $1 million. I want to make enough to at least cover my expenses and do some renovations and repairs. So that's pretty much what it is. So right now we're at $200 a night. You can bring up to 8 people, and then you also.
That's not bad. 2 is not bad.
No, it's not bad at all. And, we let you in at 3 p.m. and you can stay till noon the next day. So that way you can get time to, set up, eat some dinner, do some investigating, and sleep a little bit before you have to drive home. So, because I want everybody to get home safe, So that's kind of why, we chose the hours that we did to give people a good amount of time. And, for me, when we travel, because I'm usually the driver, I'm the one who has to call it early in the night because I do need to get some sleep to drive us safely home. And I kind of hate that, especially if it's an early morning leave at like you have to leave at 7 or 8 a.m. It really puts a damper for me as far as what time I have to quit.
Yeah. Do you keep your recorder running while you're sleeping?
It depends. Not usually in our room because we're all one of those that need a fan, so it kind of drones everything out.
Well, white noise.
Yeah, but a lot of times, as far as the voice recorder, it's hard to hear. But we do a lot throw a camera on us, and sometimes we'll have equipment in the room. So we've been woken up to REM pods going off. I've felt things touching like my air mattress before, things like that. So just that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, choose us to be out there. Well, I caught the day street, so for me, it's a 14-hour drive. Straight shot on Route 90 West. But you got to come pick me up from girl. Yeah, that'll be yells. It's usually gets a vehicle rental one because it's a little easier haul stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So with gas rates, the SUV it could be a little pricey.
Oh yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, I think last time out here, I think it was 509 now. Out here for gas. It's crazy.
Yeah, we're almost at 5, but when we travel, we call it the ghost van. So I only use it for ghost traveling.
Scooby-Doo.
I know, and I bought a little Scooby-Doo to fit in the top of the dashboard. He was a little too big, so I couldn't put him there, but I did buy a Scooby-Doo. But that's our little ghost van, and that's what we travel in.
Okay, who's Daphne and who's Velma?
I don't know. I'd probably be the Thelma. That's probably me. I'm probably the Thelma, and then Teresa's probably the Daphne.
There you go. Oh my! Oh man, it's so much fun talking to you tonight. Oh God, we're gonna get back on again. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Once you get more your investigations again, we'll get you back on. I had a ball, man.
Yeah, for sure. I got plenty of stories. I could go on for hours.
We'll definitely get you back on. Like I said, you'll be through all yours in October. Investigations.
Yeah, yep. October will be we're trying to get one more for October, but September is our last scheduled one at this point.
Okay. Maybe I'll be on around Halloween.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's a great time to be on.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That'll be fun. Then I have more stories about the Boyd house.
Oh yes, definitely. Yes.
And sure. I'll keep up with this too. I'll go on and check out their stuff and put it out on social media for everybody to check out. And go check out our stuff if you get a chance to. Get to the Boyd house. We're right out there sometime. So
yeah, love to have you.
Yep. Everything I heard. So you won't be disappointed. So well, Teresa, are you still on? Oh, you're not. I'm going to say goodnight to her. Good night, she's home. Okay, Jill. Like I said, I had a blast. And she's the one. Yeah, she's still on. Awesome. All right. Had a great time, yeah. And we'll have you on again. And all right, so tune out. And I'll keep in touch with you. And
sounds good.
And then we'll get that on again for you. So, okay. All right, everybody. Happy horning. Have a good evening.
All right. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet.